Pounders, welcome back. Episode 12 of The Big Board. My God, Evans doesn't get the deal done today. I think there's some surprised fans out there in Tampa Bay. Mr. 1,000 yard season. Doesn't matter who the coach, doesn't matter who the QB. He's that guy. There are some fun landing spots that we can go over for Mike Evans. Plenty of teams with money that are going to be great landing spots. And then there's some spots that, maybe not so good, like Carolina. And we can kind of look into his ADP and the risk reward of these different spots. But right now, going at pick 32, Mike Evans, where is he? 32? 32. I still sort of like Waddle over him right now and Neighbors I'm mixing in. But his ADP is very fair. Like for what you're getting for his single game ceiling, which is super important in Bestball, it's a very fair price. It really is. And we can go over like Washington Commanders, probably not the best landing spot for him with unknown at QB. Titans, another one with 74 million open cap. Bears, I think, is a sneaky landing spot that people really aren't talking about too much, especially if this is a team that goes Caleb at 1. Maybe mix in a little Caleb, a little Mike Evans, because I don't think a lot of people are doing that right now. And that could be a fun little spot. And honestly, does DJ Moore get a small bump down if that happens? Probably, because his ADP is already steamed up pretty damn well. But some quick shouts. Al got here early. Who got snacks? We got the snacks. Steph, welcome. Everyone, welcome. Logan, Drew got here early. Thank you guys. Smash the like if you're just getting in. Drop a sub. We are on the way to our new goal of 1,200 subscribers. 42% Chardonnay in the big board. How much did you have last year? Are we going all in again from last year's take, or where are you at? Because new coaching staff, we don't know how they're going to use both these running backs, but it was a lot of Walker last year. It was a lot of Walker. And now some of the fun landing spots for Mike Evans. And I mean, Jets is another one that I don't know where on the spectrum of fun. You can probably say he's going to have 10 plus touchdowns with Rodgers in New York. And he doesn't have to be the guy. They have skill. They have Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. So I do think New York isn't the worst landing spot for him. And it does make sense. Houston, it's an obvious one. People like, that would be a real barn burner. And honestly, that's where, if Mike Evans lands there, I'd be a little worried about my Stroud ownership. I would be a little worried about my Stroud ownership. McCaffrey, what's going on, man? Because I do think he's expensive right now at pick 50. But if you add another weapon, we'll see what they do at running back. I think they have to touch at running back in free agency or the draft. But we're definitely going to be mixing in Mike Evans. I do think I'm more excited about clicking Mike Evans now that he potentially will not return to Tampa Bay. And it's not fully locked up, but there was a soft deadline today, right? And I do think they would use the tag on someone like Winfield. $28 million for the tag in 2024. They did win a playoff game. Mike Evans, how incentivized is he to stay in Tampa Bay? We think about like D-Hop last year, right? And whether he wants to win or whether he wants to get paid. And for players at, turning 30, you don't have too many big paychecks left. You don't have too many big opportunities to get the bag. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did chase the money and maybe he doesn't end up in the best situation. But there's not that many terrible places. I think there are more good places than bad. So we definitely have to mix in Mike Evans. There's a chance he returns. There's a chance he returns to Tampa Bay, but it's a lot less likely than it was yesterday. All right, we tipped off the YouTube memberships. We tipped off the Patreon members. Thank you guys. And we get rewarded with the back end of the draft. Pick 9. Logan's in this, and we 12 out of 12'd it. So only Logan sneaks in here with us. Cut Cutler, this name's very familiar, and I don't recognize, I think, anyone else. So if you snuck in here with us, let us know where you are drafting from. Fantasy Football Garage, welcome to the live stream, man. Bendels, what's going on? Good to see you guys. Oh, the 9 spot. How comfortable we are. How comfortable we are. We'll see if Mike Evans is there at 33. Basically going to fall to us directly at ADP. And, the man's on the thumbie. He's on the thumbie. So I gotta, you gotta take him if he's on the thumbnail, right? And probably should use this pick. Way better pick for the thumbnail. Big fail by me. We're still, we're still working on it. We're still working on it. But yeah, Jordan Schultz with the report today. And yeah, we'll just have to see. Let the fun begin. Free agency, NFL draft. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Hill at 2. We're already taking stands in this draft. We're already taking stands. Where's Bry? Bry going chase at 1 today. Posting the Discord like an absolute sicko. Berg says, I love the 9 spot this year. Can get Puka or Gibbs, plus this nice second rounder. I like Collins. I know. No, the 9 spot's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I like the 9. I just have so much of 9 through 12. I have to go through and do it out. But we're this is draft number 43 for the big board. We did finish drafting the little board. We have some slows. I did 8 slows for the little board, and I'm trying to focus on time management this year. So like I want to invest a certain amount of time into tournaments that have higher payouts, right? Not to say the little board 15K to first isn't a good payout. Like I'll take 15 G's any day, as would any of you, I believe. I'm going to try to do those lower contests more with slow drafts. That's my goal for this year. Not letting you enter. Try refreshing. Sometimes that does it. Yeah, it's so early. Like I honestly, I just joke. I'm not complaining. It's become a meme at this point. Gibbs, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson. And we're probably going to end up with, maybe not. Let's go Marvin Harrison Jr. just to mix it up. Just to mix it up. Let me pull up my exposures to DJ Moore, and this will give you an idea of how often we've been on the back end here. DJ Moore is my 4th highest owned player. How? I'm not drafting him in the first round. 35%. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Marvin Harrison Jr. here. Maybe we go with the little Arizona story with this team. Josh Allen gone at 18. Bijan team probably happy to bring in DJ Moore, to be honest. We'll double RB start here, double RB start here. Charles, welcome to the live stream, man. Such a went Puka Achan. That's a fun start too. Man, this is going to be interesting again with the Miami running backs, right? You're getting a discount on Mostert after the season he just had. You would think that he would go higher, which like there's still hesitancy to draft him, right? And then Achan skyrockets up the board. You think he's going to have a much larger role. He doesn't have a long history of injuries through college. We saw him get banged up a couple times last season in the NFL. We'll see. We'll see. I honestly think like Mostert here at 90 kind of feels good. And it does feel like there is a tier break right after Brian Robinson. and that's right by the wide receiver dead zone. So we try to get to this area and obviously not need a wide receiver. It feels good to have 4 before, Watson's off the board. That's sort of been our goal for every single draft. But right now, with the Mike Evans news too, just to touch on risers, fallers, like Baker probably takes a little hit. Godwin, we've been reaching up for Godwin at like 65, 66. So we're around like 18%. Godwin gets a bump, especially he's going to be in the slot. And then Trey Palmer gets a bump. So Trey Palmer going at pick, whatever, 185, 187. I'm going to put him in this range now. I'm going to put him probably ahead of Elijah Moore, right in this Polk range. Probably Mims drop him below both of those guys too. It wouldn't be crazy. Yeah. Like, honestly, he gets a bump. And it's just like stocks, right? Like, you get news, the stock price is going to change. It doesn't mean it ends up being, the best pick or whatever, because it could change back. Evans could, we could get surprised. Look at this. Go wide receiver. We need 4 in a row, just straight pissing. All in the stall. Everyone's freaking right next to each other, no separation. Chase Ayuk, and let's see what Logan does here. Evans goes at 26. So people already starting to catch up on ADP. Yeah, honestly, I'd probably be. I've been drafting Waddle ahead of Olave. You probably can put Mike Evans ahead of Olave. 3 RB start. This will be interesting to see. If this team just keeps going RBs, it could thin out quick. We'll see what these teams do. The 2 teams that have RB heavy starts. See if they're going rogue or not. Metcalf off the board. Not a bad spot to bring in Laporta. It's not a bad spot to bring in any of these guys. Yeah, Laporta's gone. Let's go ETN here. I just have a ton of Waddle, a ton of neighbors. And this guy sort of worries me. People are down on ETN this year. They think he was a little touchdown dependent, but 58 catches is a good thing. And we saw Tank Bigsby sort of lose his job towards the middle end of the season. So he is that dude. Like, ETN's that dude. So we'll start to mix him in a little bit. Couple picks after ADP, nothing crazy. Neighbors off the board, Jalen Hurts to the AJ Brown team. Makes sense. Probably brings in Devonta Smith here too, which I don't think I love doing. I think really the only argument for doing that is Devonta Smith, in best ball minded. Devonta Smith goes off week 16, AJ Brown busts. There's a smaller amount of AJ Brown teams that advance, and then AJ Brown has the big week 17 game. Because when you think about these 2 players and you think about Jalen Hurts' stats, like, they're never popping off on the same week. Like, it just doesn't. It's very rare. We can go Lamar here, or we can reach up for T. Higgs. I have a ton of Lamar too. Let's do T. Higgs here. I love Lamar this ADP. Like, I can't. You're putting him right next to Mahomes. Like, that's disrespectful to Lamar, man. See what happens with Kelsey. He's probably returning. I still don't love his ADP. I think Trey McBride's actually getting expensive. Bry H says, I wish I had more than 150 entries. That is truly the most degen thing I think I've seen someone say in a long time. That's that's awesome. That's actually awesome. I agree. H-Chain's very risky, but the upside is there. And exactly, like, single game ceiling is extremely high. Extremely high. I just wonder, is it the week 17 bias? Like, he's on a ton of winning teams. Did that give him a small boost? I think it gave Reed a boost, to be honest. So even if he doesn't have a huge role, he can kill it. Exactly. He's just someone that can get there on 12 touches. So definitely mixing in H-Chan, not someone that I want to be underweight on. Especially there's a ton of unknown, it feels like in the second round too. Second round always seems to be ugly though every year. Lamar goes to the 3 RB team. This team's gonna get behind fast. Fast. Bryce, everyone's stealing my strategies. What if the Pats take Marvin Harrison? I kicked the cord. What if the Pats take Marvin Harrison Jr.? You would think that they would bring in a QB. If you're bringing in Marvin Harrison Jr., you have a good defense. You're not playing to tank, right? Because you're going to win 7 games with your defense and having a wide receiver one, like a true one. Ramondre Stevenson returning. Yes, you need a touch it O line. Yeah, like you need it. Yes, like bad. But I think they would bring someone in. They would bring in like Geno. They'd bring in Kirk. They'd bring in some sort of bridge QB if they were going to go that route. Maybe they trade for Justin Fields. Like that's been on the table, a table talk. I don't really love that, but you wouldn't bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. if you didn't have a plan at QB, because okay, you waste 1 year, his rookie year, if you stay with Mac Jones or Zappy. That's 1 year in his rookie deal done. The second year, are you going to draft a QB and hope you hit? Like, what's the plan? You're probably going to take another year to get whatever QB gets in accommodated. And if you win more than 5 games, you're not getting a freaking high pick. So now you're trading future picks to like, it's just about time you find a QB, and is no guarantee you find one in 2 to 3 years, but you don't want to waste those rookie years. So I don't love the idea of them bringing in Marvin Harrison Jr. As much of a sure thing he is. I really do feel like you have to get your QB situated. Dunze here's fine. Dunze here's fine. A little back to back. 2 rooks. I don't mind it. Yeah, Charles says Achane can get there in 8 touches. It's absolutely true. Nico team brings in Stroud, a little double QB. We'll see how this team. He should be done at QB. That's a ton of capital. We'll see if Cutler continues to draft QBs, but I personally would not be after that. I'm not really touching Kamara here. He's probably one of my biggest fades this season. I just don't love the efficiency from last year is way down. 3.9 yards per carry. Yards per touch, like reception wise, we're down like at least 2 yards from previous years. We can bring in Joe Burrow here and then hope to get one of these tight ends. Yeah, I kind of figured Andrews was gone. We could always go a running back as well, but such a gross range for running backs too. Yeah, if he doesn't restructure, like Joe Mixon's gone, which probably means we should be mixing in more Chase Brown than we have been. You need more wide receivers. Pickens. I like Pickens. He's a spike week guy. Absolute spike week guy. It looks like they're going to keep Pickett too for next year. Like there's a good chance that you see Kenny Pickett like starting for Pittsburgh, which means if you're drafting Pickens, if you're drafting Deontay Johnson, Najee, 3 people that go basically within the first 105 picks, probably should be mixing in a little more Pickett than we have been. I know we get all freaking hot and bothered about these rookie QBs, but like JJ McCarthy, in order for him to find success, he needs to land in like a really good system. I think like a place like Atlanta that has just a great amount of weapons. We're talking about this on the Discord too. If he ends up in Denver, like With Sean Payton, sure, like he can be maybe serviceable in a year or so, but they just don't have the weapons. Kenny Pickett does. And he's gonna be the starting QB. I've been sneakily mixing him in the little board, especially in my slow drafts that I've yet to fill on teams that I have, Pickens or Najee or whatever. Bendel says, God, no Pickett. Honestly, it's not that bad of a pick, like over Bo Nix and Penix, but mostly for the reason that not a lot of people are doing it. You have someone that's going to start games in the last round in a 20-round draft, and other people aren't selecting them. It's probably a good pick. Ooh, little 4 RBs in a row for the 2 spot. We'll see if they go hyper fragile. Probably not picking a running back to like round 18 plus here, but we'll see if they continue this. So I'm glad we're doing more like probably a hero running back build. Let's see what comes back to us. I doubt that Stevenson's going to be there, but Bowers is an obvious click for us. Love off the board. See, I don't find myself grabbing too much love. I just don't like my team as much because I'm skipping this range, which is really strong for tight ends. Njoku gone? Ooh, okay, so we're getting one of the 2. Play ball? What we can do is on the way back around, maybe even grab Ingram. We'll have this double stack in Jacksonville. We can grab T-Law at pick 110, which should fall in line with this pick. Perfect. All right, so we can go Stevenson and basically hope that Ingram's there. One team has a tight end. You have to think Cutler. Cutler can go tight end. Live a little bit. Let's go tight end. Let's bring in our 3rd rookie here. Oh my god. I don't really count these guys though as like people that are going to start slow. Live a little bit. Live a little bit. We can go Kyler here too, which is a really fun click to pair with Marvin Harrison Jr. Or we can go running back. A lot of options here. Probably not Ingram. Otherwise, it's going to throw our balance sort of out of whack. I would like to go an RB over Ingram. Seems like James Conner is going to be undervalued again this season. If we expect this team to pick it up on offense, which they likely will if they add, especially if they add Marvin Harrison Jr., another year healthy of Kyler Murray, probably being undervalued. Sure, he's going to miss 4 games, but Troy Franklin at 85, man, take a stand. Look at this, 61 on Brian Thomas Jr. It's not wrong till it's wrong. But my God, that's a stand. Let's go double QB, and we're probably done at QB with Murray and Burrow. Maybe we go a last round QB, but super balanced. Super balanced. This is what I like to do with most of my squads. Allows us to just go basically whatever direction on our next pick. Pick 105 and 112. I don't think adding a 3rd QB like around the Drake May range is overkill in a 20-round draft either. It's probably the right mix. Bendels goes, this QB room is hot. Yeah, you get that little Russian upside. You have maybe a super value pick in Joe Burrow. We'll see. We'll see if Cincinnati tags Higgins. Purdy off the board. Love and Purdy. Pairing Love with Aaron Jones. Purdy with Ayuk. maybe bringing it. Ooh. I'm guessing you wanted this to be Romeo Dobbs. I could be wrong. Logan, did you want Dobbs here at 92? ADP 95. Berg says, thoughts on Derrick Henry? Honestly, I think he gets a pretty good landing spot. He's not going to be asked to carry the ball 300 times. And he's going to go somewhere. He's going to be the goal line back. And I think it's going to be on an offense that's contending. So I think it is crazy to not at least be at average on Derrick Henry, even if he did fall off a little bit of a cliff. Al says Henry to the Cowgirls. I mean, you can lock him in for 10 touchdowns next year. You can lock him in for 10 touchdowns. And he got 300 touches last season. It was just the efficiency was down a little bit, but still, the offense was terrible. A little double tap at RB here is really nice. James Conner at 94. Ball's 10 picks. Like, I love that. Let's see what comes back to us. 4 picks. Kyle Pitts off the board. Downs off the board as his third receiver. Myers off the board. I like the Myers click. I don't mind double tapping RB here too. If we can get both to fall to us. It's funny because this is the range where I'm like looking at QBs typically. Let's play it as if Mixon gets cut. Let's bring in Chase Brown here to pair with Higgins and Burrow. Chase Brown wins the coin flip. Probably going another RB in this range. Let's see who falls, though. Let's see who falls. Deontay Johnson off the board. If Swift is still there, we'll click Swift, but Mike Williams is probably a fine click too. We already have 4 receivers. I don't mind Mike Williams as a 5th receiver. A bit ahead of schedule. Take that for what it's worth. It's also not a bad thing to bring in a second tight end here too. Let's see. Bry H, you're way behind on wide receivers now, man. We're good. We're good. We're comfy in this range. We're comfy. We are comfy. 4 receivers through what? 5 rounds? Yeah, 4 receivers through 5 rounds. We're way good. Let's bring in Mike Williams. 6 picks after. Feels good. We'll see where Mikey lands too. All right, up in 15 now. Goff, Caleb. Let's see how Logan's doing so far. Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, and sneaks in his first tight end, Kyle Pitts. I wasn't a Pitts guy last season. I wasn't a big fan of his ADP, and then it rose, and we ultra faded him. Pick 101. I think there is a gap after Pitts too. I'm gonna probably be around 12% Pitts this year. I'm gonna take the bite. See if they can get an upgraded QB. See if their offense isn't run the same way it looked last year, which was just Garbo. Let's have a quick peek. 1-3-4-1. 1, 4, 3 ones. Definitely a strange start, but it's kind of balanced right now. He obviously needs to touch at wide receiver, but it's a balanced draft. 1, 2, 6, 1. Pretty balanced. I don't think anyone's really going rogue right now. Pick 129 and 136. Now I'm curious if Logan brings in Wicks with Love. Do you have to bring in Wicks now after you get sniped on Dobbs? And then that would be a bet on basically Watson getting hurt, right? It's just you and me in the draft room. Maybe Musgrave is your second tight end. T. Binnis. Very much leaning into an early recovery Nick Chubb. Yeah, he brings in Wicks. That's cool. Honestly, for a Jordan Love team, I like this team so far from Logan. I just usually don't like the way it looks. That's pretty nice. Bringing in a second QB in this range, which I think is really good for QBs. Don't leave me with Singletary on the board. Just take him, please. I think Houston adds a running back, so it's really difficult for me to really even mix him in. Although, even if they do, we should think about this alternative, right? If they do bring in a running back, he will still be like the change of pace guy, and he'll still potentially be the RB2, right? He won the job over Pierce. So it just seems like an expensive range, though, for an RB2. Although I know we're bringing in Sharps here. I don't mind the idea of Ford because if Nick Chubb, you have the alternative that Nick Chubb maybe isn't on the team for one, or for two, maybe you get like 4 games without him and Jerome Ford's RB1. And then if they do keep Nick Chubb, what Nick Chubb's coming back, right? First year after a major injury, you have to think that Ford's role would be larger as a change of pace back, right? Like 12 carries. Like how many are they going to bring back Nick Chubb in his first game back, week 5 or week 4, whatever it is, and give him 25 touches? Probably wouldn't be smart to. Maybe they do it. It is Cleveland. They paid Deshaun Watson. Sorry. Worthy off the board. If Adam's here, he's screaming, click lad. My favorite rookie running back right now is probably just Ray Davis. Based on ADP, 185. He's older too, so maybe that does translate into being more NFL ready. But honestly, I don't really love this class of running backs. To go tight end in this range too, we're gonna have to figure out tight end at some point. We're gonna have to figure out tight end. We have Bowers, and we're drafting Bowers as if he's what, a top 6 tight end this year. So I still think we need 3 though in a 20-round draft to keep up with the other teams. Up in 16 picks, which is pick 153. Let's just have a quick scan. Yeah, this range gets ugly. I do think like Estime, if he can get a good landing spot where, it's a team that just needs a workhorse running back, I don't know if he'd be the most efficient in the NFL, but if you give him enough touches, like, I think anyone's gonna be good, but he could fit that style. Maybe, like, the Chargers would be a really good spot with him. Bright H goes lad time. Let's go. Stays true to the pound and brings in lad. Someone had to. Someone had to. Brings in his 6th receiver. Looks good, though. This room looks good. I feel better at running back now, especially with the narrative that we have going that Chase Brown gets the lead role. Mixon gets cut, cap space saver, and then Mike Williams will be able to draft enough wide receivers that we'll be able to house him for a couple games. Berg says Herbert is one of my favorites. Yeah, like you're getting at least 10 touches a game from Herbert. And who knows if Rashawn isn't, if he's not performing, they're just going to change running backs and play the hot hand. That's sort of the way I see it. I like Rashawn and I like Herbert. I'm drafting both of them at their ADP because I think there's ways that they actually both hit. Especially, we're expecting this offense to be better. We're expecting them to draft Caleb. They could bring in help at wide receiver to help DJ Moore. Maybe they help the O-line too. It's a lot of teams that need help at O-line. I'm completely fine with going another running back here too. Let's go. Come on, drop one to us. And then we'll stack tight ends. I like Mare here too. Fuck. Maybe we need to go Mare first. I don't feel as bad with Kendra off the board. Skipping on Jaleel. I like Polk too, though. Bringing our 3rd rookie. No Fs. Roman Wilson, another fun click here. Bry loves his receivers. Bry likes to be ultra strong at receiver, and I'm comfortable sort of where I'm at. Let's go Polk, and then let's try to bring in K. Dotton. I'm actually going to be bumping up K. Dotton above Mare anyways with the news about Mike Evans. So let's see if he falls back to us. I'd be surprised if this team doesn't bring in a tight end. Likely. Brings in Bucky. Okay. This dude, Cutler's this team been on auto draft. He's got 3 receivers. He just brought in his 4th receiver. What the heck is that? All right. So it falls to us. What sucks is like we used to be able to get Sanders at like pick 212. That has sailed. We could still get him basically right at ADP, but let's see if I don't think Logan's passing on Sanders twice. Jay, welcome to the live stream, my man. Says, be smart. Tom Brady, then Gronk. Does Tom Brady have an ADP? He has an ADP. Stop. Gronk, however, does not. Okay. Who's drafted Tom Brady? Raise your hand. Someone in this stream's doing it. You're sick. You're sick. Quentin Johnson finally off the board. Marshawn Lloyd, another rookie running back that I like. Little on the smaller side, but Xavier Legette off the board. Wandale Robinson get a little slide. And honestly, Wandale feels like one of those safe clicks that's not even like a bad one, right? He's safe, not in the terms that like he doesn't have a decent ceiling. Yeah, Sanders gone at 168. Treylon Burks at 169. Get your guys. Get your guys. We're up in 7 picks. I hate to do 4 tight end teams with Bowers because we're basically not leaning into him having a big season. It's going to be on the fence. It'll depend on we'll probably stop at 2 QBs then. If we stop at 2 QBs, we're going to have basically a luxury pick with our last pick. And we can decide if we want that to be a 4th tight end or not. Wandell gone. Like, I was going to scoop Wandell so fast if he was there. Algiers. Like, yes, please. Give me Algier here. Give me Algier. We're going from Tyler Algier to Ray Davis. It doesn't feel like a big win. Not gonna lie. It does not feel like a big win. I like her Samuel. Let's bring in Ray though. Let's bring in Ray. We talked about Trey Palmer. He should get a boost in this range. So we're just based on my exposures, I should be drafting more Trey Palmer, especially over Curtis Samuel, who is in my top 10 for ownership. Elijah Moore off the board. Conklin. Yeah, we're going to go 4 tight ends with this build. We're not going to go tight end here. Let's go. Let's go. The team with no pictures. Is that even allowed to win? If the majority of your players don't have pictures, good thing there's a lot of young talent. Trey Palmer, year 2 guy, sort of spike week guy too. And this is just on the bet that Mike Evans does not return. Let's see what Logan's been doing. After Rashawn, he brought in Wicks, Ladd, Brilliant Allen, Marshawn Lloyd, and Juwan Johnson. Lloyd's been steadily rising. He's at 170 now. Let's see what my Lloyd exposure is. I'm at 14.8% Marshawn Lloyd. Jalen Wright's another one that I don't mind getting my hand in the mix with. I'm at 16.7% Jalen Wright. I'd just rather take shots on these rookie running backs that go a little later, like Ray Davis. Will Shipley's not bad. But like Chris Rodriguez, like if you think Antonio Gibson's leaving, like Chris Rodriguez seems like a pretty good click in the 20th round. If you can find a backup running back or a change of pace running back in the 20th round where you have that contingent upside if the starter gets hurt, this is like the Kyron argument, but Kyron just like rare breed absolutely smashed. You're probably not going to find another Kyron. Like the equivalent to Kyron the year before last year is like Josh Jacobs in like the 6th round. You know, it's going to be difficult to repeat that. And you don't have to. But if you just find someone that's change of pace back in the 20th round with the upside of being the starter, if the one got hurt, that's a good thing. Especially this time of year. Yeah, Bryage brings up a good name, Israel Abanikanda. Like they dished off Michael Carter. And is he gone? Someone actually select him? Oh, dude, he went to the 1 spot in round 16. His ADP is 220. But he probably knew he wasn't going to come back to him, but I don't know. We'll see how this team turns out. Decent amount of reaching these later rounds, which I guess I don't mind, but go get your guy. Go get your guy. We want Hunter Henry here. Hunter Henry would be ideal. Hunter Henry would be ideal. If not, I'm probably putting Fant above Davis Allen. Let's go. We were a Hunter Henry stand last year, not gonna lie. If the Patriots just weren't a bottom 3 offense, like, Hunter Henry would have had a decent year. And I guess he did for going in the 20th round in last year's big board when people were selecting Gesicki in round 16. We could go Noah Fant here too. I'm just not really I'm not compelled to bring in another QB with these two. Let's bring in our 4th tight end. It's gross. I don't love 4 tight end builds, especially when we go tight end at 81, but our next tight end was 160. I don't think we have to do this, but in a 20-round draft, I'm still gonna like my team at the end of the day. I'm gonna bring in 1 running back and 1 more receiver. Yeah, I wasn't big on Noah Fant last year either, but free agent, if you can get this dude out of Seattle, and now actually there's new with the new coaches, like, maybe who cares? Maybe stay in Seattle, but just don't play 3 tight ends, like, evenly across the board. It's just he was in a gross situation, and we knew that, and we sort of guessed that it wasn't gonna change last year, so that was the way, I just kind of ignored him last season. Like, this mix of tight ends, Will Disley and Colby Parkinson, and mostly the reason I faded him last year was because the year prior, we saw I think it was Disley went down with an injury. Noah Fant didn't play all that many more snaps. They increased the number 2, and they were playing like 50-50. It's like there were signs. So sometimes gonna follow that. All right. This was we have to look at these 2 guys as if they're not rookies and as if they're hitting. They're being drafted within the first 6 rounds. Like, we have to look at them as if they're hitting and they're not rookies. So I'm not afraid to tack on another rookie with this team. Especially when you're looking at this. Now, Mooney could make sense with this team. I wouldn't mind Mooney. He's one of my he's a top 5er in my exposures. Again, I sort of like these free agents that can't demand a ton of money just because I think they can end up in favorable landing spots. Like, is Tyler Boyd going to be able to demand a ton of money? Is Darnell Mooney going to be able to demand a ton of money? You got to stop this Mooney stuff. That's the thing. Like, if he does resign and he gets an upgrade at QB, he's going to outpay this ADP. I'll make a bet with anyone here. I did not lose a single beer bet last year. I think I'm 4-0 or 5-0 on beer bets on Discord. What we have? We had Chris Godwin like under 5.5 touchdowns. We had Ayuk over Chris Godwin on a couple things. Top 10 spike weeks. And then we had Amon-Ra over Waddle. That was an easy one. Waddle left every single game hurt, though. Dobbins getting the slide here. Dobbins getting the slide. 100%. This is the perfect team to bring in Dobbins. Let's go. Like, I don't select Dobbins a ton, but 41 picks after ADP. You betcha. You betcha. But why can't they demand a lot of money? Don't back me into a corner here, Vape. Don't back me into a corner. Because their QB sucked. because their QB sucked. That's the story I'm telling myself. Please, thank you. I think Darnell Mooney makes sense when you have a couple rookies. Maybe you have Mike Williams who's hurt and you need maybe some 8-point games to keep you afloat. I'm not drafting him to freaking put up 25-point games. Oh, okay. Now I'm definitely going Mooney if he's there. Because this was the only other click that I was really interested in. Burton's gone. Those were really the 2 clicks that would have made me think about going over Mooney. Where'd Burton go? Oh, Burton went at 216. This dude's got some sharp clicks, but the Noah Gray thing, I can't get behind. We're bringing in Mooney here. Jay, I just got your text. You're an absolute savage. Has Dobbins ever played a full season? You're not really drafting him especially on this team. Like, you don't need him to play any single game besides week 17. Like, if he plays week 17, I'm happy for this team. I'm happy for this team. This one just seems balanced. And again, 20-round draft. It's so early in the offseason. We don't have all the cards in front of us. Just try to give yourself each the highest chance to win and advance as possible, basically, right now. Shoot for upside, which maybe isn't drafting 4 tight ends. Can we get away with these 3? Yeah, we can. Is there a big hurt to bring in another tight end at pick 208? I don't think so. I really don't. Especially when Kelsey retires and Noah Fant ends up a Chief. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. But guys, if you haven't already, go down, slap the like on the live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoyed the stream. We are shooting to reach 1200 someday soon. Michael Thomas, little click here at pick 238. We'll cover Logan's team. I think the only pounder that snuck in here with us. Cutler ends up going, like 7 receivers out of the last 8 rounds? He needed to. Interesting. I like the Brevin Jordan click too right now with the unknown about Schultz. Click makes sense at least. Damn, 27 likes. You guys are the best. Thank you, guys. All right, let's refresh this. We are officially 55 drafts in, and it is the middle of February. Absolutely sick. Disgusting. Gross. The best. Wouldn't have it any other way. Stops with just Jordan Love and Purdy. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have minded a third QB with this team, but you're leaning into these two. I think is completely fine. Where we're drafting Love, you probably do have to lean into it. Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Rashawn Johnson, Braylon Allen, Marshawn Lloyd, AJ Dillon, Chris Rodriguez. It's a fun group. You know, you're playing behind the Derrick Henry leaving town, AJ Dillon leaving town, Aaron Jones being like a true number 1 and no one else can stop him. There's always, I feel like we've seen those tweets every single year, like free Aaron Jones. This could be the year. What's my Aaron Jones ownership? He's at 31.5%. I'm leaning into that narrative. Rashawn Johnson. Yeah, I like this group of running backs. Receivers, Chase, Ayuk, Olave, Amari Cooper, Wicks, McConkey, and Malik Washington. And then Pitts, Johnson, Kraft, and Stover. Honestly, I don't mind going 4 tight ends here either. Like I do think it's balanced. That's a nice draft from Logan there. And we got our 2 QBs in similar ranges, right? Burrow just a little sooner than Love, but the same ranges. Burrow and Murray with ETN, Chase Brown, Ford, Khalil Herbert, Ray Davis, and J.K. Dobbins at pick 225. I guess we found the other 11 drafters that have the same outlook on Dobbins as I do. Tight end Bowers, Otten, Hunter Henry, and Fant. We're just looking for touchdowns here. And then Chargers? Chargers, please. What's my Bowers? Gotta be. I'm at 14.8% Bowers, and that's before that draft. So just over 15%. If he lands on the Chargers, it's gonna be exciting. Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., T. Higgs, Odunze, Mike Williams, Jalen Polk, Trey Palmer, and Mooney. Playing around that news that Mike Evans leaves. We actually get a Tampa Bay double here. Like, didn't mean to do that, but I don't mind it. And yeah, we can support Mike Williams missing games too on this team. It's a fun one. Yeah, Al says love Brevin Click. I've been coming around to it. Some of the pounders put me on him. And his ADP has been rising. Like, he used to be free in the 20th round, and now he gets drafted every draft. He's just one of those players right now. His stock should be up based on the news that we have. And when we get more news that maybe Schultz resigns, then we make the change, right? But it's like stocks, up and down based on news. You just have to be able to calculate where these players should go. And I think that's what we do really good with the draft guide, which is going to be updated soon. We have what percent filled on this tournament? It's around 22% full. So we're going to be updating it, I believe, at 26, 27% fill rate. I'm going to go through and just basically rank every single player in their range based on ADP. We did 18 rounds. The first 6 rounds had player write-ups. It's just been very successful. I think everyone's been enjoying that, and it's helped me because it makes me do the research. So guys, appreciate you guys coming out tonight, drafting this one with us. Man, we're about 1/3 full already. So we're going to need Underdog to drop another contest, maybe another little board 2 when. So guys, if you enjoyed tonight's stream, drop a like on the way out, drop a comment if you're feeling the love. I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Pounders.